Welcome to XO, where science meets heart at the kitchen table. I'm your host, Davey. In each episode, I narrate B-side tracks curated around a single theme: the why behind the ingredients, the swaps that make it better, and the stories that have been simmering for generations. No interviews, no guests, just me and you. This is EP 14, The Body Keeps Score. Before we get into the kitchen, the vowels, the windows, the recalibrations, the ingredients you forgot to count, I need to tell you what this episode is really about. It's not about health trends. It's about listening to what your body has been saying all along. Because once you understand the single vowel that separates the workers from the fuel, you stop buying what the label's selling. Once you realize your body isn't broken in January, just tired and pointing you back toward simpler food, the cleanse economy loses its grip. Once you see eating as a rhythm instead of a rule, the clock becomes your ally, not your enemy. And once you find the ingredient that was never on the plate to begin with, everything you were already doing starts to work the way it was supposed to. 4 tracks, 1 body. Let's listen. Track 1, E or O. You're standing in the grocery aisle holding 2 products. One shouts, packed with probiotics. The other brags, prebiotic fiber for gut health. They sound almost identical. 1 vowel apart. Both claim to be essential. And you have no idea which one you actually need, or what the difference even is. Here's the trick that makes it stick. The O in probiotic stands for organism, a living thing. Probiotics are the actual bacteria that live in your gut, breaking down food, producing vitamins, keeping harmful bacteria from setting up shop. The E in prebiotic stands for eat. Prebiotics are what those organisms eat. Fibers and compounds your body can't digest on its own, but your gut bacteria love. 1 vowel, 2 completely different jobs, workers versus fuel. And here's where the food industry comes in. The confusion between the two is not accidental. It's profitable. You can sell someone a probiotic yogurt and a prebiotic fiber bar and make both sound like urgent health necessities. The single vowel difference gives manufacturers 2 separate marketing lanes out of what is essentially one ecosystem. Plain yogurt with live cultures already gives you the organisms. Garlic, onions, oats, a slightly underripe banana. Those feed them. The sweet spot is when you pair them. Fermented foods alongside fiber-rich vegetables. The new workers arrive with fuel already waiting, and the bacteria already living in your gut get fed at the same time. You don't need the supplement. You don't need the powder. You don't need the product with the clinical-sounding claim on the front. Fermented foods and vegetables. 1 vowel apart, and they work better together than either one does alone. Once you start reading labels for what they're actually hiding, rather than what they're claiming, the pantry looks different. And so does January. Track 2, you don't need a cleanse. Every January, someone tries to sell you a panic attack. It starts the first week. The ads, the emails, the influencers, holding mason jars of green liquid with captions about resetting, detoxing, purging the damage. The language is always urgent. Your body is broken. December ruined you. You need a specialized protocol, a 14-day plan, a powder, a subscription, a system designed to fix what the holidays did to you. It's not broken. It's just tired. And there's a difference. What actually happened in December is simpler than the marketing wants you to believe. You ate more sugar than usual, More bread, more butter, more rich, heavy food, more late nights, more meals you didn't cook yourself. Your body didn't accumulate toxins that need flushing. What happened is that your palate got recalibrated in the wrong direction. Spend a month eating high sugar, high salt food, and your taste buds start treating that level as normal. A simple salad in January tastes like nothing. Not because it is nothing, but because your mouth forgot what subtle tastes like. You don't need a detox. You need to turn the volume back down. What I actually do in January is quiet and undramatic. For about 2 weeks, I dial back the sugar and the salt. Not to zero, just noticeably less than December. I cook more whole ingredient meals. I drink more water. I use lemon where I used to reach for salt. I eat more fiber early in the day. Greens, beans, something with structure that slows everything else down. I check what's in the pantry and swap out the old, low-quality oils for something I feel good about. I scatter turmeric and black pepper through savory dishes, cinnamon into oatmeal, ginger in tea. Not as accessories, as function. By the end of the second week, a roasted carrot tastes sweet again. A simple piece of fish with olive oil and lemon tastes complete. The flavors that were invisible in early January start showing up because the baseline came back down to where subtlety registers. That's the whole thing. No cleanse required. No protocol. No powder. January isn't a punishment for December. It's just the next season. Turning the volume down on what you eat is one thing, but what if the more powerful lever isn't what you eat? It's when. Track 3. Not just skipping breakfast. We've been told our entire lives that breakfast is non-negotiable. Never skip it. Eat every few hours to keep the metabolism running. Always have snacks on hand, just in case. But that advice has a flaw. It assumes your body wants to be fed constantly, and it doesn't. Intermittent fasting isn't about restriction. It's about rhythm. Most of us spend 14 or more hours a day eating or snacking, which means our bodies are continuously digesting, continuously spiking insulin, rarely getting the chance to tap into stored energy. When you never give the body a break, it never gets to do the work it saves for the in-between. Here's what happens during a fast that doesn't happen any other way. Your cells run a repair and cleanup process called autophagy, essentially a cellular deep clean where the body identifies damaged components, breaks them down, and recycles what it can use. Your fat stores become accessible as fuel. Insulin levels drop. Hunger hormones like ghrelin actually stabilize over time rather than spiking unpredictably the way they do when you're grazing all day. The brain often gets quieter, more focused, not because you're running on empty, but because you've removed the constant processing load. The entry point doesn't have to be dramatic. A 12-hour window, finishing dinner at 7, eating again at 7 the next morning, is enough to let those overnight processes complete. From there, you extend in whatever direction feels sustainable. Some people settle into a 16-hour fast with an 8-hour eating window and stay there. Others find that a 14-10 split works better with their schedule. The pattern matters less than the consistency. What you eat when you break the fast matters. The body is in a more receptive state. Whatever goes in first gets absorbed quickly and sets the tone. Greens, healthy fats, clean protein, low-sugar fruit. Not a sugary cereal or a sweetened coffee drink that spikes insulin immediately and unwinds everything the fast just built. The goal isn't to make yourself hungry. It's to give your body a schedule it recognizes, a rhythm it can count on. And fasting isn't for everyone. Women in particular may need to adjust windows around their cycle or life stage, and if it creates anxiety or leaves you weak, it's not your tool right now. That's fine. This is a remix, not a mandate. But if your energy is inconsistent and your digestion feels off and your cravings seem to have a life of their own, it might not be what you're eating. It might be when. You can eat the right things in the right window and still feel like the recipe isn't working. And sometimes the ingredient that's missing isn't in the kitchen at all. Track 4, the missing ingredient. For about 3 months, I was doing everything right. Whole foods, good fats, vegetables at every meal, minimal sugar, turmeric in the morning, lemon on everything. I was cooking with more intention than I'd ever had in my life. Every meal was a remix I was proud of, and I still felt foggy, still dragging by 2 p.m., still waking up stiff, inflamed, and unrested. I kept thinking I needed to adjust the food. More greens, more omega-3s, less of something, more of something else. I was troubleshooting the recipe when the problem wasn't on the plate. I was sleeping 5.5 hours a night and treating it like a badge of honor. What I didn't understand until I started reading about it is what the body actually does during sleep. Not what it feels like, but what it physically, measurably does. While you sleep, your brain runs a cleaning system called the glymphatic system. It flushes out metabolic waste, including the protein associated with cognitive decline that builds up during the day. This system only runs effectively during deep sleep. Cut the night short and the waste stays. You wake up with yesterday's debris still sitting in your brain. No amount of coffee overrides that. Your gut has a circadian rhythm too. There are specific bacterial processes that only happen when you're in a fasted sleeping state. They repair the gut lining. They process the nutrients you ate during the day. If you eat too late or sleep too little, those processes don't complete. The food you spend all day cooking well doesn't get fully absorbed. And your insulin sensitivity, the thing that determines whether that bowl of rice is processed as steady fuel or stored as fat, is directly tied to sleep. One bad night is enough to shift the equation. The same meal that gives you sustained energy on 7 hours of sleep gets metabolized differently on 5. Same food, different outcome. The only variable is the sleep. This was the hard realization. I thought if I ate well enough, sleep wouldn't matter as much. I thought the turmeric and the anti-inflammatory fats and the fiber were doing the heavy lifting, and sleep was just rest. Nice to have, not essential. It's the other way around. Sleep is where the body processes everything you gave it during the day. The nutrients, the repair signals, the anti-inflammatory compounds. They do their work while you're unconscious. Without enough sleep, the food just passes through. You're investing in ingredients and not giving your body the time to use them. It's like meal prepping all week and never eating any of it. The fridge is full, the benefit is 0. Once I started sleeping 7 hours, not a dramatic change, just an hour and a half more than I was getting, the fog lifted within a week. The inflammation in my joints decreased. My energy stabilized. The food I was already eating started working the way it was supposed to. I didn't change a single recipe. I just gave my body the time to finish the job. The relationship goes both directions. What you eat affects how you sleep. Complex carbs in the evening, sweet potatoes, root vegetables, ancient grains help transport tryptophan into the brain, where it converts to serotonin and then melatonin. That's the sleep signal. Magnesium is the mineral most people are running low on, and it's directly involved in muscle relaxation and nervous system calming. Pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, almonds, these aren't snacks. They're function. A small glass of tart cherry juice before bed contains natural melatonin, not pharmaceutical. Just a gentle nudge toward drowsiness at the right time. And the simplest one, stop eating 3 hours before bed. Your gut needs the fasted state to run its overnight repair cycle. If it's still digesting dinner when you fall asleep, it's doing 2 jobs at once, and both suffer. I built a nighttime kitchen ritual the same way I built a morning one. Dinner done by 7. The kitchen cleaned, not because I'm tidy, but because wiping down the counter and turning off the lights signals something. The day's cooking is finished. The input phase is over. By the time I'm in bed, the transition has already happened. Sleep isn't the absence of doing something. It's the final step in everything I did all day. The plate is the input. Sleep is when the body uses it. That's EP 14. The Body Keeps Score. 4 tracks. 1 system. A vowel that splits 2 jobs your gut can't do without each other. A month of heavy eating that doesn't need a cleanse. Just 2 quiet weeks of cooking simply and letting your palate find its way back. A rhythm of eating that gives your body time to do the work you never see. And the ingredient that was never on the plate, the one without which everything else you're doing doesn't fully land. The body keeps score. Feed it well. Time it right. And then get out of the way and let it sleep. Here's to health, happiness, and a remix that's uniquely yours. Thank you for spending time with me. Food feeds the body. Music feeds the soul. Remixology is where they collide. Download the Remixology app. New music and recipes drop every Friday.